guys. I admit that I was wrong on the Russian invasion thing. I thought it was going to be a ruse, and so I sort of bet against it, and it cost me. And I got stopped out a few times yesterday because, well, I was relying on this FX Math software, and it was telling us that we were going to be potentially risk on. You can see we're actually pretty risk off. So what I'm going to do is next week I'm going to be testing the software. It's not fair to run a test when we've got this geopolitical risk, and it's legit. Putin ordered his troops into eastern Ukraine late last night, so I can't see any reason why we would be risk on. And you have to bear in mind that the retail guys are long on the indices. They're long on the US 30 as well as the S&P. And so what I'm going to do, I will trade today, but I'm going to wait for the 8 o'clock London Open, and I'm going to check the market heat map and see if that flips, right? Because yesterday we had a 180 degree at 8 o'clock. I think about 5 minutes past 8 we went really red really quickly. So I'm going to probably will trade today, but I'm going to wait for 8 o'clock and I'm going to see if this flips. I can't see any reason for it because sentimentally we're a sell here, and fundamentally we're definitely a sell because of their geopolitical stuff, and we're gonna sanction Russia, and UK has sanctioned Russia as well, and so it's gonna be a pretty heavy day I think today. So trade carefully. I can't see any reason why this would flip, but you just don't know. It's pretty chaotic, and so that's that. All right. So do bear in mind, I can't see any reason why we would be risk on, but maybe it could be a dip buying opportunity for the big fish because they've come back from holiday, and it was President's Day yesterday. So New York, they might look, oh, that looks like quite cheap. I'll buy that, and then price might go up. So we have to be very, very, very careful. Let's have a look at some charts. Now this is NU, fairly buoyant still. I'll get rid of this tricks crossover actually, move that down a little bit, make some more space. Yeah, it's fairly buoyant. It's not looking particularly heavy. Volume node down here, one above is likely because of the size 67.39, one below is 66.75. we are a sell, but it's 50-50, but I think we might come up there. That's your daily range high, so it's your ADR high and SLC. So that would be a good place to short because technically it would be oversold if we go above, and it would be a liquidity probe. All right, so that's why I want to, make sure you guys know about that. That's a possible scenario. Okay, GU took the SLC. You would have seen on the technical channel. That's fine. Oh wow, yeah, we did totally get it. You can see those stops got absorbed. Quite historical stops as well. Yeah, so those guys who went long and their stops got raided, so ended there. So they should have got out potentially. It's a 50 pip move, and yet it come down to their break even, but it went beyond their break even and they got to their stop loss. So I think this is like a testimony of what we should be doing, is that we have like a set TP. See, 53 pips for a day isn't that bad. So perhaps what we need to do is don't be greedy. They say about the bears get paid and the bulls get paid, but the pigs get slaughtered. So they might have been a little bit risk averse, and they're looking for like massive profits, but they got a little bit slack because they should have maybe moved their stop as it went up. They could have used a trading stop, couldn't they? Big volume node down there at 135.30. There's your weekly open, so could be technically bearish. We are a buy here, and they're going slightly long, so that would be the short there. Maybe look at the Euro Swiss because this is actually a sell according to the bubbles, and we see we've got like a hammer. It's just like pretty horrendous, really. So that would have caught you out. What's that? It's a 20 pip move, so that could have caught you out. It's just disgusting behaviour, really. It's just horrendous. So this would be a sell according to the sentiment on the bubbles, but it has to do that. It has to wick like this and cause lots of fake nonsense. So volume node there, it's 103.80. That could be a resistance, but sentimentally this should be falling, right? But looking at this candle here, whether or not it's fake, I don't know. So we have to be careful. AJ. We'll go look at Dixie actually. We'll look at a Dixie chart. One above is 82.76, one below is 82.10. There's your weekly open. We're teetering on it now. There's a quarterly, yearly open, so technically fairly bearish. We are a buy. So lots of things are mismatching. They're shorting it ever so slightly, so we can come up to get the SLC perhaps. I wonder if I can show you Dixie. Right, okay, so we've broken this pitchfork, this diagonal, and so we're going to obviously have resistance at that high. There's your monthly pivot there, so there's like a monthly pivot and the high resistance. We are making a bullish formation. Looks quite strong because we broke that diagonal too. Maybe we'll come up to MP, maybe we'll come up to test that this high here, and also remember this should perform well against a risk-off environment, right? So it could be worth watching the Dixie. I think maybe we could come down to test the diagonal and then we can come up like that. See something like this maybe, and then we go up like that, and then it might be a bit of a challenge here because there'll be some supply here. So yeah, a bit tricky. What else? I guess maybe that's it, I suppose. EA. So this falling would be a risk-on indication, and it's fallen, but we're clearly not risk-on at all. We're really risk-off. So the FX and indices aren't in agreement. So I think maybe what I'll do is probably trade today. If I get stopped out again like I did yesterday, I'm going to probably just like sit on my hands for the rest of the week, and you don't know what's going to happen for New York. It could be like buy the dip because things are possibly quite cheap now. So I think the key is just to maybe refamiliarize yourself with that risk management document that I made. Read that, watch those videos, and there's no harm in not trading because that could actually be like a good trade not to trade because it's so uncertain. You saw the Euro Swiss, for example, and doing that. This. See, that's quite naughty, but you know, we could maybe say, did we hit some, might be getting some support there. Yeah, we're close, aren't we? Yeah, very, very close in fact, so we might be trying to get that support. Yeah, very tricky. Alright, so I guess I'm going to wrap up now. I think the key is today is just be very, very careful, keep an eye on the news. And it turns out that perhaps it wasn't noise at all and it was actually news, and so that's my bad really, but that's one of those things. I think it was a bluff, but it wasn't a bluff at all. So we'll see how we go. Be careful and you should be fine, but I think the Euro Swiss has got this now, and that's what it's going to do. This could be like a fakey move, so it tells us that the bubbles are not behaving that well today, so maybe fundamentals, and we'll see how we go.